Well, hey again, everyone. This is Bob from Hot Rock Central with another project, and this one here is my sand heater that I'm starting on. One of the guys over on our GAB group, or GAB Solar group, was playing with the sand heater, and it looked like he had some interesting results. So I decided I'd jump in on it too and to see what I can do with it. So what I've got here is I've got a large stove burner there. It's a regular 240 volt stove burner, and what I did is I cut some holes for the element connections right through the side of the can, and put on a stove burner connection. And one of the problems that I had to deal with here when thinking about how to put this together is that my system is only 120 volts, and since this is a 220 volt burner, how was I going to get it hot enough to be effective? Right over there on the floor, I've got a 120 to 240 transformer, but see, the thing is, if I was to light this burner up, where it starts turning cherry red, and then cover it up with sand. Well, I'll tell you something, being in the plumbing business for over 40 years, if you fire up a water heater that doesn't have any water in it, you'll destroy the element. Then once you pull the element out, you'll see what happened to it. It'll do one of two things. It'll either have a rip in the casing on it where it exploded, or where it got so hot that it just drooped over and melted. So don't want to cause anything like that to happen here. So I had to find a way to limit the voltage on this so that it wouldn't get cherry red once I bury it in sand and just burn up the element and waste a lot of money and time for nothing. So the Variac is what I got it hooked up to, and that was the answer to solve that problem. And this is a 120 volt Variac, and it'll go up to 240 volts. So I've got it cranked up right now to about 155 volts, and it's putting out about somewhere around 750, 800 watts, which is pretty good, considering that if you watched any of my other videos on my barrel heater here, my drum heater, that one there is filled up with water, and that thing runs all day from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the most I can get it up to is 200 degrees. And right now it's let's see, it's 7:30. So from 4 o'clock to 7:30, let me get my temperature sensor here. And from 200 degrees, from 4 o'clock, it's gone down to less than 125 degrees here now at 7:30. So the longevity on that, 30 gallons of water, really isn't all that very much. By 11 o'clock, it's down to about 85 degrees, so there's not much effective heating after 11 o'clock. So I wanted to try this sand heater out here, and even though this is a smaller container, I can get this up to a much higher temperature, and maybe it'll heat longer. So we'll have to find out about that, and that'll be coming up later on. Well, let's see what we're getting right now. I've had this thing run for a little bit. Yeah, let's see. Well, there's nearing about somewhere between 750 and 800 degrees. It's fluctuating quite a bit, but let's see. Well, there's almost 800 degrees there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill this up the rest of the way with sand, or as much sand I've got in the bag there, and let this go for a while and see how long it takes to heat this up and what temperature the outside of the can gets to after so many hours, and we'll see what happens. So hopefully this will work out better than this drum heater that I've got over here, because it uses more electricity than this will use here, and if this lasts longer, then I'll actually save some power off my solar system here by running this rather than the drum heater over there. So anyways, stay tuned. I'll be back here in just a second with the results after this has been running for a while. All right, we're back, and it's 8 hours later now. I wanted to try to keep an eye on this thing as it was going on overnight, but I happened to lay down and started watching that Tucker Putin interview and nodded off. So now it's 8 hours later, and the temperature of the sand heater here is not bad. It's 300 degrees. And it's pretty toasty. Can't touch it or you're going to burn yourself. Now, how's it doing here in the shed as far as temperature? Well, not too bad. Outside right now, on the left, you see it's 44 degrees, and here in the shed, it is about 66 degrees. Normally, what I do is I'll have these two 24-volt heaters here running overnight, and they're capable of keeping the shed somewhere between 15 and 20 degrees warmer in here than the outside temperature. But now the whole point of this is to see what kind of heat retention capability this sand heater has, because actually this won't be running at night. I'm going to be charging it up and heating it up during the day with my excess solar. And if it has good heat retention capability, then maybe I can get away from having to use these heaters at all or very little, which is going to save me a lot of wear and tear on my battery usage. So anyways, on the next segment here, we'll have to find out just how long this sand heater here will retain its temperature, and how much of its temperature, and hopefully it'll turn out better than this water-filled drum heater here. And if it does, then I've got myself a new heater. So we'll see what happens in the morning after I get back up and see what the temperature is then, and find out if this thing's any good or not. Well, folks, it looks like there's going to have to be a part 2 to this video, because the second day after testing this sand heater here, all of a sudden my Variac over here blew a fuse, and the element here wasn't reading any resistance. So I dumped some of the sand out and pulled out the element, and the element was encrusted with a thick layer of sand all around it, fused to it. And once I got all the sand busted off of it, I found the element was totally disintegrated. So that didn't work. So what I'm doing now is I'm ordering another element, and instead of putting 155 volts into it like I was the first time, I'm just going to use the regular 120 volts, and hopefully that'll be a lower enough temperature where it won't totally destroy the element, and we'll see where it goes from there. So anyway, stay tuned for part 2, and we'll see if we can get this thing running. See you on the next one.